They met on an evening that smelled of rain and second chances. The kind of evening when the world seems softer, as if time itself pauses to listen. Lena was running late for her train, clutching a worn-out umbrella that refused to open when a stranger offered his instead. He had that quiet kind of kindness, the sort that doesn't demand attention but leaves an imprint anyway. His name was Eli. From that day forward, their lives seemed to move in rhythm. Coffee at the small corner cafe that played old jazz, walks through the city after work, shared dreams whispered between laughter. He promised forever in small ways, never through grand gestures, but through consistency. He showed up, always. Until one day, he didn't. There was no argument, no explanation, no note. Just silence. Calls went unanswered, messages unread. Weeks blurred into months, months into years. And Lena learned that sometimes closure never arrives dressed in words. It comes dressed in acceptance. Or at least that's what she told herself. She rebuilt slowly. Moved to another city. Got a job she didn't love but tolerated. Learned how to smile again, even if the smile felt borrowed. But every now and then, she'd catch a glimpse of someone with Eli's posture, or hear a song he used to hum, and the ache would stir again, the ache of unfinished sentences. Life has a way of circling back when you least expect it. Years later, Lena found herself back in that same cafe, now under new management. She sat by the window, watching the rain trace slow rivers down the glass, when she heard a familiar voice behind her, a voice she had memorized in her bones. Lena? Her breath caught. She turned, and there he was. Older, thinner, eyes lined with something deeper than time regret, perhaps. He smiled softly, as if afraid the moment might break if he smiled too wide. "I didn't think you remember me," he said. "How could I forget?" She whispered, "People don't forget those who disappear without saying goodbye." He nodded, eyes dropping to the table. "I deserve that." There was a pause, long, heavy, full of questions she didn't know if she wanted answers to. "Why?" she asked finally. "Why did you leave?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he pulled something from his jacket, a folded photograph. In it, a woman stood beside him, holding a child. Lena's world tilted. "Her name was Mara," he said quietly. "She was my wife." Her breath left her body in one sharp exhale. "Your wife?" He nodded. "I didn't know how to tell you. When we met, we were already separated. I thought it was over. But then she got sick. And when the doctor said it was terminal, she asked me to come home." Lena stared at him, her hands trembling around the mug. All those years of silence suddenly had shape, color, meaning, and still, it hurt just as much. "I thought you ghosted me," she said, voice breaking. "I thought I did something wrong." "You did nothing wrong," Eli said, eyes wet. "You were the one good thing I ever had." But when she called, I couldn't say no. She didn't have anyone else, and the boy, he wasn't mine, but he needed someone. And I thought, if I left quietly, maybe you could hate me enough to move on. Tears blurred her vision. She wanted to scream, to tell him that love doesn't vanish just because someone walks away, that it lingers, quietly in all the places we thought we'd forgotten. But all she could manage was, "You should have told me." "I know," he whispered. "But I was a coward, and maybe I still am." For a long moment, neither spoke. Outside, the rain softened to a drizzle, and the world seemed to exhale. She looked at him, the man she once loved, the man who had broken her heart, and the man who had loved someone else through his guilt. "Is she?" "Gone," he said softly. 3 years ago. The silence that followed wasn't cold. It was layered grief, forgiveness, nostalgia, all braided together. Finally, Lena stood. "I don't know what I'm supposed to say to you," she said, voice trembling. "I spent years wondering why you left. Now I know. But that doesn't make it easier." Eli nodded. I don't expect forgiveness. She hesitated, looking at the photograph one last time. The woman smiled faintly, unaware of the story she'd left behind. Lena felt something shift inside her, not closure exactly, but Peace's first whisper. I don't know if I can forgive you, she said honestly, but I don't hate you anymore. He smiled, small and tired. That's more than I deserve. As she walked out of the cafe, the rain stopped completely. For the first time in years, Lena didn't look back. Some stories, she realized, aren't meant to be rewritten, they're meant to be understood. And though forever had ended long ago, maybe forgiveness was a different kind of forever. Days passed after that unexpected meeting. But Lena couldn't stop replaying it in her mind, the tremor in Eli's voice. The photograph, the truth she'd waited years to hear. It wasn't closure in the way she'd imagined it. It wasn't neat or gentle. It was raw, heavy, and strangely liberating. She found herself walking through old places again, the bookstore, where they first talked about their favorite authors, the park bench where he once told her that love wasn't about perfection but presence. Now, she understood what presence really meant. Sometimes it meant showing up, and sometimes painfully. It meant walking away so someone else could heal Dot one evening. As the sun dipped low behind the buildings, she sat by the river where they used to spend Sunday afternoons. The water shimmered with fading light, calm and restless all at once, just like her heart. She realized something profound. The ache she'd carried wasn't just about losing Eli. It was about losing the version of herself who believed love was supposed to last forever, but maybe love wasn't about forever. Maybe it was about moments, the quiet ones that change us without warning. She smiled softly, whispering into the wind, thank you, Eli, for teaching me how to love, and for teaching me how to let go. A sense of peace followed, gentle like the hush after rain. She didn't need him to come back, didn't need to rewrite their story. The truth had set her free, even if it came years too late. Weeks later, she received a letter. The handwriting was familiar, careful. It was from Eli. Double quotes, Lena. I don't know if I deserve another chance to speak, but I wanted to thank you for listening, for letting me explain. You should know that after we met again, I told my son about you. He asked me if I ever stopped loving you. I told him love doesn't stop, it just finds new forms. You were my light when I was lost, and that will never fade. Take care of your heart, Lena. You've always had the kindest one I've known, Eli. Asterisk, she folded the letter and tucked it inside her journal. For the first time, she didn't cry. She just sat quietly, feeling gratitude where pain used to be. Life had moved on, but now she could move with it. As she stood to leave, a light breeze carried the scent of rain again, like that very first night. And though she walked alone, it didn't feel lonely anymore, because some promises, even when broken, still leave behind something unbreakable. The lesson that love, no matter how brief, is never wasted.